That's my second flower stalk of my very first orchid. The can I showed at the beginning of this video is a hydration juice that I drink to keep hydrated in this wicked heat. And you can see the second picture was of my orchids, and the one has a second flower stalk on it, which is so exciting. She not only bloomed this year, but she's also put off a second flower stem full of blooms. So I'm excited about that. We can't wait to see how that goes. Today is actually July 10th. It is finally overcast, as you can see, and cooled down. I don't have my sweat rag on. It's about 78, 79 right now. No sweating heat. It's warm and the sun is coming out, but it's a lot better than it has been. Here's the cactus, and you can see new petals here. There's a new one, there's a new one. I've been lopping it off since we had to have the road replaced and the sewage done. And now she's putting off new petals. I also wanted to show you that our heat has been so bad. This little one here, you see how she's all shriveled up. Our heat is drying everything out. So I've had to actually, we've lost a couple of them. They've already shriveled up, turned yellow, and fallen off. You can see that cute little spider there. He helps fertilize everything too. Eats all the bugs, but so yeah, I've had to start watering the cactus twice a day along with all the other crops. And happy belated Independence Day, aka 4th of July, for all of you who, I know it's late. Our 4th of July was a hot mess. We were going to go, there's our pumpkin, and it says that the stem's gonna fall off and then she'll turn orange. You can see there's some sort of gritty stuff on the stem and down here. I'll actually get in there in a minute, and here this one's putting off flowers. You can see the buds, but still no pumpkins. And this one's got a little bit of that crusty stuff on it. I don't know if you, there you go, you can see it way over there. It's, I don't know, it's got funny stuff on it. Not exactly sure what's going on. Here's one of our cucumbers. She's got all kinds of blooms here, and I'm just weaving her in and out of the fencing. There we've got one just about ready. Hello, little bee. There's another one there. They're getting ready. Hello, bee. You want to be on the camera? All right, pretty bee. There's another little cucumber. So, and here's another one. We got some more buds over here, but, and you can see all the bottles. I just refilled the bottles yesterday. Looks like there's one that still needs to be filled. So our heat is just really destroyed a lot of things. Struggling really bad. I'll show you the stuff on the stem of the pumpkins, and it's a crumbly stuff. I'm not exactly sure what it is. Looks like we got some parasites of some sort as well. Not exactly sure what those are either. You can see that some of them have already hatched there. They look like little spider mites or something. I don't know. So zinnias are still doing good. I brought them over here to bring the pollinators to the pumpkins. These are the onions. And the heat has really done them in. This is our bloom, and I've actually started to knock these off as they fall off, and I'm putting them in here. There's one dried up, and then I'm just kind of like turning it every day so that the blooms all drop onto the soil. Hopefully we'll get them to sprout. You can see this one here is still green. I'm hoping that it'll get in that soil and sprout. And we'll have some more onions. So yeah, that's that there. The lettuce over here, well, it's all bolted, and so I gotta harvest the seeds off of that. The last year's parsley, I'm not sure if I'm gonna get any seeds, if it'll zoom in there. It's, like I said, the heat's really killing everything. This little guy finally put off blossoms. It's got more buds, but as soon as its blossoms open, then they shrivel up within a matter of hours and turn brown and fall off because we just got too much heat. Here's 2 out of the 3 of my hybrid cherry tomatoes. I had 3 of them. You can see the empty pot. I'll show you that in a minute. I slip potted that into a bigger pot yesterday. Here's another one. This one was a volunteer one, and it's 1 stalk. If you can see the stalk down there. Maybe not. There you go. 1 single stalk. And all of those are our ground cherries. Yellow husk ground cherry tomatoes. The mint that I plucked from the front yard way back at the beginning of spring is doing so good, but the heat again has decided to cause it to bolt. So we'll see how that goes. But it is putting off more stringers. So I got one over there in the pot that was supposed to have a strawberry in it, and strawberry never showed up. Behind it is the purple tomatillos. They've had flowers on them, but none of them have been pollinated except for these 2. They look like they're about the right size. Now I just have to wait for them to fall off, and then we'll try those. You can see these leaves are already curled up, and that's literally lack of water and heat. And this is one of the very few that it actually had chives in there too, but the sun has just fried the chives. So I got to put a bottle in there to have it automatically water on its own. There's the basil. This is the bucket of self-seeded cherry tomatoes from last year, and I've just been slowly but surely, with the soil being wet, I water it down real quick, and then I'll pull one out, and then I put them in the little pots so that they can thrive better. Here's the other volunteer cherry tomatoes, and we got lots of them in there. I do need to separate these so I can finally get some harvest. A lot of them in there are putting off tomatoes, so that's good. But with as many plants that are in there, I don't know exactly how many will thrive and give me tomatoes, because they're all crammed in. There's probably, I don't know, 50 or 100 plants in there, unfortunately, in that little bitty pot. Here is the other Thai basil. Both of these are Thai basil. There are 2 volunteer cherry tomato plants in here. You can see, and they do have tomatoes on them. I have actually harvested, I think, 5 now tomatoes off of there altogether. Here's the one I just slip potted yesterday. You can see how its soil is wet. I just kind of, this is the bucket that the peas were in. There's a weed. And the peas have died off. We're not getting any more peas. The heat has just destroyed them. Here's our beans. They're still trying to thrive, so I shoved a pot in a thing in there with some water on it. And I did see yesterday, these leaves keep dropping all the time. Oh, where's my little bean pod? I did have another bean pod in here I seen yesterday. There she is, right there. So we are still getting beans, little by little, one at a time. I think I've harvested maybe 10 altogether. There's the other pea plant. As you can see, no matter how much water you give them or don't give them, this sun has just destroyed them. There is our white tip red radish, and I let it go to flower. So these are all the seed pods. They have to actually turn a yellowish color. Let's see if I can get up close to it from this side. They'll turn this yellowish color like this one, except for there's a critter that's already eaten into it and ate all the seed. And I think I see it. It looks like it might be one of them whitefly guys that's eating them. But they turn yellow like this, and then you can pluck them off, open the pods, and save the seeds. So that's an update of that little butterfly. It's come on, looks like a carrot butterfly. Real pretty little guy, just flying around here doing its little thing. And I just clipped a bunch of the heads off of my zinnias, but I'll show you those too. Here are the nasturtiums. They're still thriving. They did have some really pretty orange flowers 2 days ago. Here's the chamomile, which I don't really know how to harvest, and there's quite a bit in there, so I probably need to separate that and put it in a separate pot. I've harvested almost all of the short and sweet carrots. There's a couple that aren't quite full size yet, so I'm waiting on that. This brown thing is one of the lettuce. No, that's the spinach. And there's some of the seeds. I have to harvest that and hope that I can get something out of that. This here guy, let's see if I can get him up. This is our dill. This is the volunteer dill. It is just now, focus, going to flower and opening up. So as the flowers turn yellow, hang on, let's see if we can hold this still. Okay, as the flowers open up like that, then they'll get pollinated, they'll close up and turn brown, and then I can harvest the seeds from him. The California poppies are just about done now, and I did drop some seeds down in the soil, hoping we'll get more California poppies. As you can see, they're just about done, and this here by my thumb is what pokes out after that guy right there. That buds up like the flower, then it closes up, and this big stalk comes out, and as soon as that dries, you can snap that off, and the seeds are actually in that there pod. This here is the helichrysum. It's still alive, but really struggling. There's a couple more short and sweet carrots that are not quite ready yet. Here are some of our nasturtiums. No, excuse me, zinnias. All these poppies are done. I gotta clip them out of there. These are zinnias. These ones have just opened today. This guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy. And then look, there's another one coming. That guy's almost dried, so I will wait for him to dry up the rest of the way, clip its head off, and save the seeds so that we have more zinnias. So those are the zinnias in the tower. This is the last of the lettuce. And here is a seed pod right there. And if it's, yeah, it's dry. So then you snap it off. Let me try this without losing the seeds. I'm doing this one-handed. All right. Now, let me flip you around here and show you how this is. So, in my hand, in my finger, is the seed pod. And one seed has already come out. So, it splits. And there's a, oh, I'm going to lose it. There's a little sheath in there. And on the other side, there you go. There's the sheath. And you can see the brown spots on there. Those are actually the seeds for the lettuce. Sometimes they'll stick to the sheath. Sometimes they'll be on the inside of each side of the pod. Let me hold this up here if I can get it in my fingernail. Okay, this is the inside of the pod, and that little brown spot at the bottom of the tip there, away from my finger, is a seed. They are teeny, teeny, tiny. But those are the lettuce seeds. And so I take the, oops, I just lost the sheath. I got seeds loose everywhere now. And I'm going to turn you around and see if you can see these little bitty yellow seeds. There's 3 of them there. There you go. So those are your lettuce seeds. And I'm going to just go ahead and put them right back into the soil here. Yep. And then when I water it, they'll get soaked in and hopefully grow again. So that's that part. We'll show you this other grow tower, Mr. Stacky. He's still doing good, still pushing off some lettuce here. We do have a couple of the Lisbon, there you go, the Lisbon onions, which are doing good. I've just been clipping off pieces of it and harvesting it as a green onion that I can put on the, there's another one back there, on my potatoes and stuff. Here's our parsley, still kicking good. You can see that it is getting a bit of sun damage, but when I water this tower, the water sits at the bottom and keeps that soil on the bottom tray moist. So we've been lucky to not lose any of that. That's the last of our lettuce there. You can see that one has already went to seed or is bolting. And then the big tower. We did not get any broccoli. And you can see that there have been many, many, many bugs that have eaten the leaves. And even though the stalks are still thriving, we're not getting anything from it. Because of all the critters. That's the zinnias that we had a good sized wind come through, and I spun the tower around and knocked it on the side of the porch there, so it broke off. So what I did is I took it. It had a couple of roots on the bottom of its stalk, so I just shoved it in some soil. And there is a bird feather there. Let's get that out of there. And I'm hoping that it will reroot and grow some more. Since it's off of its main stalk, all the flowers did kind of wither away. This stick is literally holding it up because it was so heavy. You can see I have 2 purple cosmic carrots left over. I did not harvest because they weren't quite ready. They will be ready soon. I did plant some more carrots in there. There's our last beet. It is thriving, slowly but surely. So it's still doing okay. Now let's turn you around here a little. Let's see, make sure that that stick doesn't knock on the porch. And if I can get this to spin around a hair more. Okay. Move the broccoli. Here are our red scallions. They're doing good too. I haven't harvested them. They're actually overdue to be harvested. You can see how big their bulbs are. But as long as I leave them in the soil, then they're not going to go bad, so they're doing okay. There's our last bit of Thai basil. Again, the sun and the heat is just so harsh that it's caused it all to go bolting. Still smells amazing. Once this all turns a brown, not a yellow, it'll turn brown and dry. Then you watch that, because the seeds are actually up underneath there in that part. And they'll drop if you don't catch them in time. And this here, and I'll put my thumb up here so you can tell. These are my early bird zinnias. The stalks, the stems are bigger around than my thumb. and they are 4 foot tall in this tower. These are the zinnias. I tell everybody, these are my zinnias on steroids. And let me see if I can spin you around. Hang on, we got to do this the other way. Otherwise, it's going to knock everything wonky. So let's hold this here. Come on. One-handed, trying to turn everything around. Alrighty, here we go. Oh, hang on. That's an okra. Okay, well, this is an okra that has fallen off of the plant. Obviously, this is an okra. This is not a zinnia. Obviously, with the heat and everything, it didn't do too good. And I'm going to show you the okra in just a minute. But until then, oh, that was its bud. Okay, I missed the bloom altogether. Hang on, I'll show you that. So, these are the zinnias. I'm going to see if I can't get this to spin just a hair more so I can show you how big these zinnias are. So, okay, here's our zinnias. And way up there is the flower. Let's see if I can one-handedly grab it here. Alrighty. They're as big around as my hand. And this is actually a small one. I just harvested the other ones. Deadheaded them is what they call it. But you go down the stem to where you see see if I can do this. Down here where my hand is, and it puts off 2 more stems. So this flower, you come down to where it leaves off, you cut it there and leave these 2 extra ones, and they put off 2 more flower heads, and they bloom beautifully. But again, this is my zinnias. These are the ones I tell everybody, my zinnias on steroids. So, and they're doing good. We have, you see that leaf right in there, we have started to run into the Japanese beetles and white flies, or some sort of parasite that's that little guy. And they're all over. But they're not killing the zinnias. They're leaving all the other crops alone for the most part. So I'm just letting them go. This zinnia stalk is wonky, so I'll have to tie it up. But the new surprise that I just seen is the okra. So we actually have 1 okra. Looks like I might get a couple more. So I'll watch that. I'll check my seed time site and see when it says to harvest the okra. And then I'll also go ahead and look into that, because I've never grown okra. So I have no idea when it's supposed to harvest or anything. But this is a bloom. You can see that it was a flower that was on that okra. I guess I missed that altogether yesterday. But that's okay. There are a couple of them there, so we'll see how much okra we get out of that. And I'll show you when I harvest it and see how that goes. That's pretty cool. I'm excited about that one. I know Ben loves his fried okra, and that's a southern thing. So that's what's going on right now with all of our crops. The heat it's just now starting to get warm because I'm just barely starting to sweat. We have dragonflies out here too. The dragonflies, I found out, actually eat mosquitoes and other little flying critters. So it's good to have them out here. At least I know they're eating the skeeters, so I don't have to worry about being eat up by mosquitoes. In the evening time when I'm watering everything. I didn't do a video on the 4th of July. We got ready to go to see the fireworks in another town over, well, a couple towns over in Sweetwater, and before we even got to the next town, which is Loudon, I ended up hitting a baby deer. And so we turned around, checked on it. It was gone. It was I was doing the speed limit, and it was a little bitty baby, and I hit it so hard that I killed it on impact. So I was pretty traumatized by that, and we thought that that was a really bad sign for us to go any further. So we turned around and came home, which was a good thing because some of the neighbors up the way were already lighting off fireworks, and as we pulled in the driveway, we seen a firework shoot across behind our house and behind the neighbors. And with us having such heat and everything being so dry, I guess that was a good sign for us to come home. And so I grabbed the hose and hosed down the backyard and the backs of our houses and the sheds and everything. We hosed down everything as far as our hoses could reach. And I left my hose out in the front yard just in case. I mean, we hosed everything as far as the hoses could reach in front of our houses, across the street, in the neighbors' yards, behind our houses, hosed down our houses in general. As you know, we hosed everything down just to be on the safe side so nothing caught fire. So that was a good thing. The bad thing is that I'm still dealing with hitting a baby deer, and it's really bothering me. But I figured, well, it's cool out right now. It's overcast, so we can still see everything. It is early, it's only like noon, but I needed to do an update and let you guys know what was going on and show you all the progress, or not so progress. We're still kicking and trying to get as much as we can out of everything. Ben did get me a citronella plant, so when I'm sitting on the porch waiting for the water bucket to fill the watering jugs to water everything, then we do have the citronella to keep some of the mosquitoes away. But you can see the heat is even getting to it. So keeping everything watered is a struggle, and the sun is burning and frying a lot. So we're just doing the best we can, staying positive, and you know, keep on keeping on. Every year is a new experience, and it's not always a good thing, but we learn from our experiences. Everything in the shade tent is doing really good. I'll have to do that another time because it is starting to get a little warm, so I need to head in soon. But everything seems to be doing well for the most part. I mean, you take it with a grain of salt, and just keep going. I think next year we're going to try a couple of different things. Maybe put up some sort of a structure to be able to put some shade over these crops that are trellising up the fence. We're not exactly sure how we're going to do that, but we have discussed that with as harsh as our sun's been this year and our heat, that we're definitely going to be finding a way to provide shade, because I mean, you can see the yellowing of a lot of the leaves just sitting here looking at it and everything. And so this year is a struggle. It's extremely difficult to get out here because our humidity has been so high. Our heat index for the last 2 weeks has been anywhere between 115 and 125 due to the time of day and how hot the temperatures are getting. We are just in the beginning of July, like I said, July 10th, and July and August are our hottest months here in eastern Tennessee. So we've already hit, I think our highest so far has been 98 degrees without the heat index. So we're just watching everything. I'm keeping everything watered as best as I can. And we're just doing the best we can, you know. But there's our update for today. Oh, here, I don't think I showed you this little critter. This guy here, I do believe that the neighbor said this is like a bleeding heart. And it does put off buds from time to time. I don't catch them very often, but they're still doing okay. Back there is the lettuce, as you can see, and you can see all the fuzzies. To harvest that, you actually take the heads, and I'll have to show you a video on that. Show you how you take the heads off, because at the ends of the fuzzies, this is a curly leaf lettuce. And curly leaf lettuce will put off a flower like a dandelion. And then when it gets fuzzy like that, just like a dandelion, when you pull the fuzzies off, at the end of the fuzzy, there's a little seed. That is the seed for more curly lettuce. Curly leaf lettuce. So I'll do a video on that here before too long so you can see that too. It's just really hard to get out here in the heat. Even with my sweat rag, it's this heat has really hit me hard this year. And I'm doing the best I can to not have heat exhaustion or heat stroke. So our grass is dry. I'm having to water the yard. I mean, it's pretty bad this year, which it's never been this bad. But hey, you learn as you go. This year's really a doozy. Hopefully next year it'll be a little bit easier, but we're still thriving, alive and still thriving. Grateful for the bounty of things we are able to harvest and everything. And I know somebody's going to ask, well, what did you do with the zinnias that you deadheaded? Well, they were starting to lose their leaves, their little flower leaves, or petals, their flower petals. And so I wait for them to start losing their petals, and then I deadhead them, cut them off, and I give them to the neighbors. So I think I had 6 or 8 of them yesterday that I deadheaded. So I took them and took them as a bundle and took them over and gave them to the neighbor. And she was very tickled about it. And the neighbors always ask, well, why are you giving me flowers? And it's like, well, I watch them grow I get to watch them grow. And so now that they're flourishing and I need to provide more stimulation for my plants to grow more flowers, I'm cutting these and giving them to you. Now you get to enjoy them while I watch some more grow, and then I'll cut them off and I'll give them to someone else. So basically that's all I got for you today. It is starting to get a little bit warm, but I don't think it's going to get anywhere near as warm as it has been. I'm crossing my fingers that we get some rain soon. The weather says that we're supposed to be getting rain, but every time they predict rain, I mean, they've even predicted thunderstorms for 3 days in a row, and we've gotten nothing. So I think the one day we did hear some thunder, I looked out and there was 12 raindrops on the grill, and the sun was coming out. So, I mean, the rain had literally passed and we got nothing. 12 raindrops. So, but a tease, I guess you could say. But I mean, it is what it is, and you just keep on going. So, if you guys enjoyed this update, make sure that you give me a thumbs up, like it, like my videos, subscribe to my channel so you can keep updated. I try and do updates as often as I can, but again, with this heat being so hot, you can see the sun's actually coming out because I'm squinting my eyes. But with our heat and everything, it's just been too hot to get out here and do much. So, again, like and subscribe. I'll try and update you as often as possible. Thank you for watching my videos. I appreciate it. I hope that you're learning and enjoying my videos. And remember, you are someone. You do matter. I don't have to know you to love you. And I do love you. And thank you for watching my channel again. And I will see you on the next one. Until then, ciao now.